What's up, fam, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa and I have been a minimalist for 5 years now, over 5 years now. We are a minimalist family of 4 who extreme decluttered our entire home down to 8 suitcases, and then we moved overseas to Europe, where I share easy ideas on how you can live more minimally as a family. What does the box say? With less stuff, less stress, hopefully more money, and a lot more fun. I am so excited today because I saw this really cool feature on this website called Social Blade. It does predictions for YouTube channels, and it says that I will hit 1,000 subscribers around October 15th, 2020. And not only that, it says that I could hit 100,000 in 5 years if I keep going along the current path, which is pretty exciting to me. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa and I'm a minimalist mom. And when I say what's up, fam, I really mean it, because to me, you guys have become like a second family here on YouTube. And that's why today I wanted to celebrate the fact that recently our family passed 100,000 followers here on YouTube. A lot of you have been with me from the very beginning, and I have been reading your stories and your suggestions and your ideas and journeys, and we've shared laughter, we've shared tears. And most importantly, what we've done here is we've created a community of supporting, caring, and helpful people from all around the world. A community where we can cheer each other on and pat each other on the back, and also give each other virtual hugs when things get hard. Because in the beginning, simplifying your life can be hard. From the fear of getting started to finding the motivation to keep going and making choices about what to keep and what to let go of. I think that there's certain decluttering hacks that almost everyone knows, like the 1 in 1 out rule, or how to fold and store clothing vertically, or creating a memory box. So today's video is a curation of some of your best decluttering hacks and some of your stories that I think deserve to get more recognition here on YouTube. And before we dive in, what I'd like for you to do is, first of all, like this video, and then go down to the comment section and drop me a comment down below with your top decluttering hack. And maybe we can build this up to be the biggest collection of decluttering hacks on YouTube. And who knows, maybe your tip or hack is exactly what someone else needs to see to make a difference in their own life. So without further ado, let's dive in. Decluttering hack number 1 is to give yourself permission to let go. Catherine commented, "This is so helpful to hear. I come from a very sentimental, read, keep everything family, and sometimes I just need permission to let things go. Thank you for sharing your experience and tips. Heart." Giving yourself permission to let go is one of the best and healthiest things you can do to create more space and more time and more freedom and more financial freedom in your life and more happiness for your family. Because when you give yourself permission to let go, what you're saying is, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have a home that I feel relaxed in. I deserve to be surrounded by things that I love and to have more time for the things that I love doing and the people that I love. And when we choose to let go of the things that don't make us happy, then it's a really freeing feeling. Sometimes all it takes is just hearing that you have that permission from someone else, but it's up to you to give yourself permission as well and start moving forward. Decluttering hack number 2 is to start with high volume items. And this is something I'd never heard worded in quite this way. As this person said, my idea is to start with high volume items. Boxes of yarn that I'll never knit, big books, and that makes a visible difference once they're gone, and then I can move on to smaller stuff. I thought that this was a really smart way to put it, because when you get rid of high volume items, you're creating a lot of space at once, whether it's something like bookshelves, furniture you don't want anymore. I got rid of some beanbag chairs that were taking up a lot of space in my boys' room. And when you get rid of these high volume items, it really doesn't take that much effort to clear out these big things all at once. And then you create a huge amount of space with minimal effort. And that also gives you a lot of good visual feedback and gives you those instant successes that you want to keep driving you forward. I'm also thinking of things like equipment that you don't use, china cabinets. So things like this, these high volume items, are such a good thing to get rid of. Declutter hack 3, keep a clutter bucket. Such as Maria said in her comment, I have a donations hand-me-down basket in each of our closets so that whenever something doesn't fit or we don't want it anymore, it goes straight into the basket. At the end of each month, I review the baskets and separate what needs to be donated and what needs to be kept for my youngest son to use next. Just to have the basket there makes the constant decluttering so much easier and helps a ton with closet space. As Maria said, you can call it a hand-me-down basket. I call it a clutter bucket, and just having these strategically placed throughout your home where when you're short on time, you can pick something up and toss it in to be observed later. When you don't have a lot of time to declutter, this can be really, really helpful. Some people put them at the bottom of their stairs. Some people keep them in their closets, but having places to quickly go to and toss in clutter when you find it lying around your house is a really great decluttering hack. And speaking of craft supplies, decluttering hack number 4 is to change your clutter habits, like this person noted when they said, I recently found your channel and I love it, and I have been binge watching. The other day I put myself on a craft supply spending freeze for an undetermined amount of time as I have too many I haven't used. So if you don't change your clutter habits, your home is going to go right back to being a cluttered mess in the future because you're not really changing the behavior that led it to become cluttered in the first place. And that can include things like doing a spending freeze, stop buying fantasy self items like too many clothing, working on things like impulse shopping and emotional spending when you have a tendency to shop when you're upset. When you're ready to start a decluttering journey, it definitely helps to think about what was I doing that led my home to become cluttered in the first place. And a lot of times our clutter is just unmade decisions. And what kinds of decisions have we been avoiding making, and what kind of clutter has been piling up in our home? That's really helpful to take a look at so that you can try to change that behavior going forward. Like follower Karen noted when she said before she started decluttering in 2015, she stopped buying anything. She went a year of not buying anything except for food, meds, and dire necessities, and then decluttering every drawer, every cabinet, and every closet in her home. And she's since continued to repeat that and limiting the inventory to the space available. And she still doesn't buy anything other than necessities. So definitely look at your clutter habits and change them going forward. And if you are interested in participating in a no spend challenge, I've got one coming up in February. We're going to be starting February 1st. So make sure that if you haven't already, go down and subscribe to my channel so you can come and participate in our spending freeze for the entire month of February, also called No Buy or No Spend Challenge. I look forward to seeing you there. Declutter hack number 5 is to draw or take pictures of the items that you want to remember before you get rid of them. For example, AI Blake commented, when throwing away sentimental things, I draw them in my notebook. These drawings mean more than the original item because it comes from me and it's full of feeling and observation. I don't always draw the whole thing, but rather some lines that I like. I thought that that was a really interesting idea. I'd never heard of drawing before. Other people have commented that they take pictures of what they want to remember. And Christina commented, yes, our season of life does change on keeping items as we revisit those items down the road. Taking pictures and letting go of items is great. You can always make a photo book of the items you have decluttered and or sold. Decluttering hack number 6 is to remember that your objects are not your loved ones. Like this follower who commented, honestly, it took me 20 years to recognize the fact that I could throw away my children's artwork without throwing away my child from my heart. It seems dumb now, but it felt disloyal somehow. And this is something that I've actually talked about recently in my video on making memory boxes, because as a recovering emotional hoarder, one of the biggest things for me that helped me move on and let go and declutter my past was to realize that the memories are not in the objects, but the memories are in me, and that I don't have to keep every single thing in my home to remind me of my loved ones. I don't have to keep every single thing that ever belonged to my mother or my father or my grandparents, when only the most special pieces could do. And another follower commented on that video and said that a friend of hers who's also a minimalist offered good advice, which was that you don't need to hold on to other people's memories. And her parents and grandparents all passed before she was 30, very similar to me. But now she's staring down 50 and she thinks she's finally ready to start letting it go. Thank you for this video. I think it's what I needed to really kickstart my sentimental de-hoarding. Wish me luck. This could take a while. Decluttering hack number 7 is to repurpose your clutter whenever possible. This is a more sustainable way to declutter, and it's one of my tips that I shared in my 8 ways to declutter and get rid of clutter without guilt. Take, for example, Chris, who wrote, "Scarves you no longer want are great for wrapping presents." In fact, when I did a declutter of my entire home, I had found some fabric pieces that I no longer wanted, but I got a comment on repurposing them for gift giving, which I thought was such a great idea. Samira also said, "Yes, let's normalize utilizing the card boxes and empty jars to organize. It's how we do it here in our household. Ha 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 ha." I am so on board with that. I love to use old jars and cardboard boxes and other things to help me store things in my kitchen and in my wardrobe, and it just helps keep things compartmentalized and more tidy. And speaking of which, we had another comment from Catherine who said, "I kept meaning to say this, that I use boxes from Apple products like my iPad for drawer dividers. They are sturdy and shallow. iPhone box fits pins." Yes, Catherine, that is such a great tip. In fact, I took my husband's old Apple Watch box and repurposed it for use in my desk drawer. And then I have also used my old iPhone box inside of my own memory box to help keep small items stored nicely. Decluttering hack number 8 is to make a timeout box. Timeout boxes go by many names. I've heard them called also quarantine boxes, and follower Lydia commented and said, "I am in the middle of putting the majority of my clothes in a pause box to see if I miss them in a month or 2. I realized the other day I could have my laundry hamper full and still have a pretty full hanger, and that's a problem. I'm also going to get things labeled and organized, which is less important than decluttering, but still a good way to help my room stay clean." And yes, absolutely, quarantine boxes, timeout boxes, pause boxes, no matter what you call them, it's a great idea to have a box where you can put things that you're not quite sure about into and wait a while. Maybe it's 30 days, maybe it's 2 months or 6 months, depending on if it's a seasonal item like holiday stuff or something that you'll only use in the winter. Set it in the box, see if you find yourself going back to the box to look for it, and if you don't, after that set period of time, then you can feel free to let it go. Decluttering hack number 9 is to ask yourself, who needs this more than I do? As Autumn commented, something that always helped me get rid of things is this saying my mom says, "There's a little girl out there who would love to have this." And I have to say, Autumn's mom is spot on, because if I'm ever on the fence about something and I find myself saying, "Oh, I might need this," or "just in case," I think, do I really need to keep this in my drawer or my closet or wherever when there's someone out there who could use this item more than I could? So sometimes just acknowledging that this item is no longer as necessary for us, but could be more beneficial to someone else, is just the push that we need to get it out of our home. And finally, decluttering hack number 10 is to declutter the parts. If you have any parts or collections where you're just keeping all of them, but you don't necessarily need or use the entire thing, you might find it beneficial to get rid of the unnecessary or unneeded parts that you don't use. Follower Janet commented, "I love how you're not afraid to get rid of the part of a toy or a set and keep just the part that gets played with. Such a win-win." And I think what she was talking about was when I decluttered things like the domino set because my kids didn't didn't play with the dominoes, but they liked having the box to store their little precious treasures inside. Or we got rid of the train tracks, but kept the trains. So don't ever feel like you're obligated to keep every single piece, whether it's something like from a collection or from a toy set or pots or pans. If you find yourself not using a certain set, or maybe it doesn't bring you joy anymore, you can let go of it. And I have even found when I was selling my clutter that sometimes selling the parts of the clutter sell better than if you were selling the entire thing, such as my pack and play. When I broke it down into pieces, when I sold the mat and the net and then also the mobile that went over the top with the soft toys, I was able to recoup the price of a brand new pack and play just because people were only looking to spend a little bit less to replace those certain parts. So don't be afraid to get rid of parts or accessories if they're no longer necessary. I hope you enjoyed this video on my favorite decluttering hacks from you. Don't forget to drop your comment below with your top decluttering hack if you haven't already, and maybe consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel to join our minimalist family on YouTube. We would love to have you around again. And I will see you again next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.